The path to financial freedom is usually much quieter than people expect, which is one reason so many overlook it. When people talk about financial freedom, what do they usually imagine? Winning investments, starting a successful business, getting lucky with real estate, or discovering the next big opportunity before everyone else. Financial freedom often sounds dramatic, like something that happens suddenly. One breakthrough, one perfect decision, and suddenly everything changes. But here's the surprising truth. Most people who achieve financial freedom don't get there through dramatic breakthroughs. They follow a quiet path, a path so simple that many people overlook it completely. And if you stay with me until the end of this video, you'll understand why this quiet path works so well and how following it can slowly transform your financial future. Let's start with something important. Financial freedom is not about becoming extremely rich. It's about reaching a point where your investments generate enough income to support your lifestyle. At that moment, work becomes optional instead of necessary. You still may choose to work, but you no longer depend on your paycheck to survive. Now, here's where many people misunderstand the journey. They assume financial freedom requires huge income, but income alone does not create independence. Savings rate does. Your savings rate is the percentage of your income that you keep instead of spend. Someone earning $70,000 and saving 30% builds wealth faster than someone earning $150,000 and saving 5%. Income impresses people. Savings rate creates freedom. Let me give you a concrete example to show why this matters. Imagine two people both earn $80,000 per year. Person A spends nearly everything they earn. They save maybe $3,000 per year. Person B lives comfortably but modestly and saves $25,000 per year. After 20 years, their financial lives look completely different. Person A still depends entirely on their paycheck. Person B has built a significant investment portfolio, and that portfolio produces income. This is the quiet path to financial freedom. Spend less than you earn, invest the difference, repeat consistently. Over time, something powerful begins happening. Your investments start generating returns, those returns generate additional returns, and compounding begins accelerating your progress. Let's look at a simple example. Imagine someone invests $1,500 per month into a diversified portfolio, earning an average annual return of 8%. After 10 years, they might have around $275,000. After 20 years, around $880,000. After 30 years, more than $2 million. At that level, their investments could generate meaningful annual income, possibly enough to support a comfortable lifestyle. And remember, this path didn't require perfect stock picks. It didn't require winning the lottery. It simply required consistency. Now let's talk about another important part of this quiet path: time. Time is the most powerful force in investing because time allows compounding to operate. When someone invests early in life, compounding has decades to work. Even modest monthly contributions can grow into large portfolios. But if investing begins later, compounding has less time to operate and the results are smaller. This is why starting early matters so much. Not because you need large amounts of money, but because time multiplies whatever you invest. Here's a way to think about it. A 25-year-old who invests $300 per month for 40 years could end up with well over $1 million at an 8% average return. A 35-year-old who invests the same amount for 30 years might end up with less than half that. The younger investor didn't save more, they just gave time more room to work. Now, let's talk about something psychological. Many people ignore this quiet path because it doesn't feel exciting. There's no dramatic moment, no overnight success, just steady progress. But steady progress is exactly what produces reliable results. Think about planting a tree. During the first few years, growth appears slow, but beneath the surface, the roots are expanding. Eventually, the tree begins growing faster. Money works in a similar way. Early progress feels slow, but once investments grow large enough, compounding accelerates. The challenge is that most people quit before the acceleration happens. They look at their portfolio after 2 or 3 years, see modest growth, and assume the strategy isn't working. But the quiet path requires patience, not because it's broken, because the early stage is always the slowest. Now let's talk about another key idea: lifestyle discipline. Financial freedom requires maintaining a gap between income and spending. That gap is what funds your investments. Many people lose this gap because of lifestyle inflation. As income increases, spending increases. A nicer house, a more expensive car, more frequent luxuries. Eventually, their lifestyle expands to consume their income. Wealth builders avoid this trap. They allow some lifestyle improvements, but they continue investing a significant portion of income increases. Each raise strengthens their financial foundation. For example, imagine you get a $5,000 raise. The typical response is to let spending absorb most of it. A nicer apartment, more dinners out, upgraded subscriptions. The wealth builder, on the other hand, might invest $4,000 of that raise and use $1,000 for enjoyment. Over 10 years, that single decision could add tens of thousands of dollars to their portfolio. Lifestyle discipline doesn't mean living like a monk. It means being intentional about where your money goes. Every dollar spent on something that doesn't truly matter is a dollar that isn't building your freedom. Now let's talk about another benefit of this quiet path: reduced financial stress. When someone invests consistently, their financial security grows. Unexpected expenses become manageable. Career decisions become more flexible. Opportunities become accessible. Financial independence is not only about retirement, it's about control. Control over your time, control over your career, control over your lifestyle. Imagine having 6 months of expenses saved. A car repair or medical bill no longer feels like a crisis. Imagine having 2 years of expenses invested. You could leave a job you hate without another one lined up. Imagine having enough that your investments cover half your bills. You could take a lower paying but more meaningful job. That's what the quiet path builds. Not just a number in an account, but options. And options are the real currency of freedom. Now imagine following this quiet path for 20 or 30 years. Your investments grow steadily. Returns compound. Financial momentum builds. And eventually you reach a remarkable moment. Your investment income begins covering a meaningful portion of your living expenses. At that point, your relationship with work changes. Work becomes a choice, not a necessity. That's financial freedom. And it rarely arrives through dramatic breakthroughs. It arrives through quiet discipline, consistent saving, consistent investing, allowing compounding and time to do their work. That's why this path is so powerful. It doesn't require genius. It doesn't require perfect timing. It simply requires patience and the willingness to follow a simple system long enough for it to work. The quiet path may not be exciting, but it's one of the most reliable ways to build a life where money works for you instead of the other way around. And for those who follow it patiently, the destination can be extraordinary. If you take one thing away from this video, let it be this: stop waiting for a dramatic breakthrough. Stop hoping for the perfect investment or the lucky break. Focus instead on the one thing you can control: your savings rate. Increase it where you can, automate it, protect it from lifestyle inflation, and then let time do what it always does. Thank you for watching. If this quiet path resonated with you, consider subscribing so you don't miss the next one, and I'll see you there.